the 107th rushing attack out of 130 teams in FBS football. That much a reflection on the offensive line, but also the running backs as well. Cedric Ware, as you mentioned, 6.5 yards per carry. So he was highly productive in the number of carries he had, led the team in rushing. Let's talk running backs. And of course, Stephen Carr would be the first person that would come to mind for most of us.
Yeah, and he is the guy that really has to put up or shut up this year. He came in as a freshman and was very exciting. Ultimately, his freshman season was derailed by injury, and he came into the 2018 season, and it never looked like it was going to be what USC needed it to be, because he ended up having back surgery in the spring. When you're coming off of a back surgery, no player I've ever seen coming off of back surgery has ever been even close to what they were when they were at their peak. It usually takes the second year that you get really back to full speed. So that's what USC is banking on when it comes to Stephen Carr this coming season. Is he's now a full year removed from that back surgery. He is as healthy as he's been as a Trojan, and USC is going to be running an offense that maybe they're not going to be pounding the ball the way that USC fans have been accustomed to in the student body left, student body right kind of mentality. But the air raid will make use of their running backs, and Stephen Carr is more or less built with the skill set that should thrive in the air raid. He is an exceptional pass catcher out of the backfield, and USC is going to get the ball in his hand wherever they can be. And one thing that USC has very much insisted throughout the spring as they're introducing this new Graham Harrell offense is they will not abandon the running game. They were insistent on a 50-50 split last season and seasons before as far as the balance of their offense. That's going to change, but it's not going to be much less than a 60-40 kind of situation, and the running backs are still going to get touches in the receiving game. So Stephen Carr is a guy who really could have a breakout season, but he's got to prove that he can sustain it, that he can stay healthy. He has an exceptional skill set. There's a reason he was a 5-star running back coming out of high school. He is quick. He has good vision. He can make great cuts and weave his way through a defense, but he needs to get that step back that he had before the back injury and some nagging ankle stuff and everything that's pretty much kept him from being a really exceptional heir apparent to Ronald Jones II, like people might have hoped. Personally, I am a big advocate of Vavae Malepeai. So I got to mention him because he's the backup from last year. Didn't get a lot of opportunities, but when he did, he showed incredible grit and want to, and he was very difficult to take down. He's got a sort of kind of broad, kind of squat body that allows him to get low and shrug off contact. So I'm very, very excited about him. He can also catch the ball out of the backfield. So between the two of them, Stephen Carr and Vavae Malepeai, plus hopefully some improvement in the offensive line, I think USC's running game will have an extreme improvement from where they were, which might be surprising considering that USC is going to the air raid. But I think that will ultimately yield significantly better numbers on the ground because last year was just so very subpar.
They basically split carries. They both had nice games against Washington State. Carr with a nice game against Stanford, 10 carries for 52 yards. And down the stretch, it was Malepeai with a few more rushing attempts and a good game against UCLA to finish off the year well before the Notre Dame effort. So the running game doesn't have a proven commodity back there, but guys that have game experience in the top two backs there. And like you say, the offensive line, a big reflection on the 107th ranking rushing, which I'm sure the current coaching staff and approach isn't going to be so concerned about the total numbers in the rushing game. It's the effectiveness. And they seem to have a good complement between the top two in regards to what you're explaining about power versus cut and speed downfield.
Yeah. Malepeai is probably, I would call him more all around. Not necessarily a power back, not necessarily a speed back, but one of those guys that maybe does a little bit of everything. Carr definitely has the home run ability, and I think they can complement each other, especially because USC is going to go to the two back sets that we've seen sparingly over the last couple of years. But in Graham Harrell's offense, that seems like it might be something that USC throws out there a little bit more often, where they have both of them in the backfield And Malepeai can get out there and block reasonably well. Carr less so, but the two of them, I think, can absolutely thrive in the same offense. And USC fans are excited also for the third option, Marquise Stepp, who is the true power back that maybe you'll see a lot around the goal line. But figuring out USC's rotation is going to be very, very intriguing because there's a new running backs coach, Mike Jinks. He is an unknown commodity as far as how he's going to juggle the athletes that he now has available to him. In the past, he's preferred a single sort of bell cow back, and we will see if that's what he goes with. And if he goes with that, then you can pencil in Carr there. But I think a rotation makes more sense given who USC has available to them and the philosophy of Clay Helton in particular when it comes to running backs.
And speaking toward the potential, as you mentioned, in the air raid attack, Malepeai with 15 receptions last year, Carr with 8. Those numbers could go up, but obviously that's going to be a skill set that they're going to need to improve on. Keenan Kristen was the only signed running back in the 2019 class. I don't want to call him a marginal prospect. 3-star, top 30 running back in the nation, so probably nothing coming in the 2019 class, but they're going to have to go with what they've got. And again, it was a lowly rated rushing attack that they're not probably too concerned with the rushing rank for this year, but the productivity in spots that they're going to need for this offense to thrive. Alicia De Artola from Reign of Troy breaking down USC for us. Please join her in, for one thing, the article that I was just referencing, breaking down the offensive line that she posted a couple months ago. So look through that and everything else that she and the rest of the staff have in store there at Reign of Troy. Alicia, we appreciate you stopping by as always.
Always fun. Thank you for having me.